Well, joining us now via Zoom is Dr. Gerald Steinberg, a political scientist and head of NGO Monitor. And Gerald, I am so glad to see you. I have so much to ask and so little time. Let me start this way. The Security Cabinet met and ignored the hostage deal on the table. It's full speed ahead toward Gaza City. Can anything derail Netanyahu's determination to press forward into Gaza City with a full IDF operation?
I think this is a division in Netanyahu's plans, although it's bifurcated. The two options here. One is go in full force into Gaza City, destroy what's left of the Hamas leadership to the extent possible. Yes, there will be IDF casualties. We don't know how long this is going to take. It's going to get lots more international criticism. But if Netanyahu is going to pursue this war to the end and not repeat the cycle of premature ceasefires we've had for 18 years, there's really no other option. The other possibility on this, and I think they exist together, is perhaps Hamas will finally wake up and say, hey, Trump is serious and Netanyahu is serious. And if we don't do something to end the war, to release the hostages now, we're going to get totally crushed, not just us, but everybody that supports us. Gaza is going to be cleared out, at least according to the Trump plan. We can talk about that in a minute. So it's called deterrence, but it's much more than deterrence. It's convincing Hamas after 23 months of this war that they are not going to survive, and that if they want to get out with a few of their lives and the loved ones and their families, they better give up the hostages and call for a ceasefire now. So I think it can go either way.
Gerald, help me unpack this Trump plan for post-war Gaza. It's called Gaza Restitution, Economic Acceleration and Transformation Trust, or for short, the Great Trust. 2 million Palestinians compensated and leave Gaza or move to designated areas inside Gaza. Then, under U.S. trusteeship, investors come in and turn the rubble into a high-tech paradise. Is that about it?
That's a good summary of what we see in the Washington Post. And I think it's very likely to be the kind of model that Trump is working on with Witkoff. It's interesting that Tony Blair, the former prime minister of the UK, one of the more realistic, maybe the only realistic European statesman that's out there, is involved in this. And Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law, is reportedly involved in this. And he's connected with the Arab states, with the Abraham Accords countries like the UAE, Bahrain, also Saudi Arabia. Now, if everybody's on board on this, it could happen. But I think the odds are very small. I think it's a marker to say to the Palestinians, to Hamas, and to all those European officials, politicians, whether it's Keir Starmer and Macron or Merz in Germany, all of them were basically rehashing plans. Let's go back for another round of this conflict. Let's call a ceasefire. Let's end the daily suffering of everybody, get the hostages out. And then what? They have no idea. Trump says, I know what's then what. Then what is we're going to completely redo Gaza. So it's something on the table that has to be related to. You got a better plan? You don't like this? Put something else on the table. Well, it's not another preparation for another war.
Well, Gerald, it's a 10-year plan. It sees no U.S. funds being spent, but high return for investors. Is this basically a proposal for a giant real estate deal in Gaza? Are there any precedents for such a thing?
First of all, there are no precedents. They envision things like Hong Kong before the Chinese returned, or like Singapore in terms of land mass and population. But of course, the conflict is so overwhelming. It's first you got to get the Palestinians to understand and say, okay, we're not going to get rid of Israel. We did our best. We killed, we maimed, we violated, we raped on October 7th, and now look at us. We're not going to defeat the Israelis. Therefore, let's reach some sort of a compromise. That's, I think, behind all of this, to say to the Palestinians, you're not going to continue to do this. You've done it now for 77 years, since 1948. You're not going to be able to do this, and we're going to make sure you're not going to be able to do this. Not Israel, not the United States. You've got something better to put on the table. Europe, Palestinians, International Red Cross, whoever those people, those other groups are, then go ahead and put it on the table. You can't, there's an old baseball saying, you probably remember this, you can't beat something with nothing. Well, Trump has now said, I've got something. It sounds so very highly improbable is the term, the most polite term I could think of, but put something else on the table then, and not just a rehash of everything, all the slogans, all the myths, all the UN and NGO humanitarian aid groups that resupply Hamas. We're not going to let that happen again. That's a very important marker.
Gerald, I have a feeling during the next 10 years we can talk about this another few times as they break ground on this project and revisit it and see how it's going. Thank you so much for
I'm glad I
helping
can
to
help
shed
out,
light.
Steve.
Thank you so much, Gerald.
Good to talk to you.